Welcome back everyone to NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. I am the owner Aaron Rift, back from the weekend break. Let's get right down to your questions via Formspring. Hey Aaron, what do you think if Batista came back to WWE and went against Randy Orton at next year's Wrestlemania? Well, first of all, I would not really want to see that match because we've already seen Randy Orton versus Batista so many times in the past. It's been overdone. If Batista did come back, I'd like to see him in some fresh feuds, maybe with CM Punk or somebody else. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of fresh guys right now, and I think Batista's got the right mindset, just taking a break from the business and doing something else because his character did get stale and the product is stale, and I think he just made the right decision. You know, he already made enough money in WWE, and he can go off and do other things right now and maybe come back in a few years and be a fresh face again. So I highly doubt we're going to see Batista back for WrestleMania this year, but if he does, I'd like to see him in a new feud instead of Randy Orton. Hey Aaron, what do you think about the Kurt Angle heel turn? It sucked. What did you think about the ending to Raw this week with Triple H and CM Punk? Once again, I have mixed feelings about it. Same thing with some of the other promos over the past few weeks. On one hand, I like the fact that they're breaking character a little bit and talking about real life issues, but on the other hand, they've really gone, I think, too far with the inside references, especially in this segment. It felt like Vince Russo scripted it. If I knew better, I'd say Russo was back, but I mean, it was kind of ridiculous. It felt like I was watching a segment from Impact, an interview segment with Hogan or whatever, just, the I respect you and using the real names and so on and so forth. I just thought it was overdone. But what the hell? YouTube.com/thecatdiaries. That's the one and only plug they're getting today. Anyways, back to the question. Yeah, I mean, I think that Vince Russo had something to do with that segment, but he didn't. But yeah, it was just... The one thing I did like about it was the very end when CM Punk got the microphone and hit Triple H with it, and then I guess he stiffed him a little bit. Triple H with one eye shut, one eye open. I don't think that was an acting job there. And yeah, I thought that was a good lasting visual to go into the pay-per-view. But yeah, overall the segment, I liked some parts of it. Some parts I wasn't so crazy about. Do you think William Regal will ever become inducted into the Hall of Fame, considering he's a 13-time champion in WWE, 17 if you include WCW? Regal was the first-born, English-born WWE heavyweight champion. Okay, I've mentioned this before about the Hall of Fame. If Coco B. Ware can get in, I'm sure that, for all you watching this, name your favorite WWE mid-carder, and I think there's a 50-50 shot that they'll get into the Hall of Fame at some point. So, there you go. Why does TNA run arenas that they cannot fill? Bound for Glory is in a 10,000-seat arena which will not be sold out. If they wanted to run a pay-per-view in Philadelphia, what is wrong with the ECW arena? Well, the whole point of getting away from Orlando is so they can be in a bigger arena and look more major league. So wouldn't going to the ECW arena be counterproductive? And plus, it's really expensive to go on the road. So they're going to want to run in the biggest building possible and try to get as many people into that building as possible. That's the reason why they wouldn't. There's really no point in going from Orlando to another really small venue. Shut up, cat. Ruining my show here. Oh my god. Why does TNA run arenas that they cannot fill? Oh, I already did that question. Damn cat. It's throwing me off here. Hey Aaron, if Mick Foley gets picked to face Undertaker at WrestleMania 28, do you think they should do another Hell in a Cell match against one another, with Foley coming out on top and beating Taker and ending the streak? I think the problem with doing a Hell in a Cell match is that the fans' expectations would be so high. They would say, okay, since Foley's back in the match, that means he's probably going to do some crazy bump off the cage or it's going to be totally insane. And I just don't see WWE doing a match that could live up to the expectations of fans. I think if Foley does wrestle Undertaker, they should just leave it at like a no-holds-barred match and just let them just brawl all over the place in the crowd and the stands, so on and so forth. I think that would be the best way to go if Mick Foley ends up facing Undertaker at WrestleMania 28. What's up, Aaron? Love the show. Do you agree that Kurt Angle deserves better than a number 34 spot in the WWE top 50 superstars rankings? And do you think that The Rock should have been higher than Stone Cold? What are your thoughts? Okay, well, that whole list was just absolutely ridiculous, and everybody has their opinion, but it's clear WWE based those rankings on political reasons, and not, Hulk Hogan was like number 24, come on, and Bruno was like 20, 22, 23, Flair was in the 20s. It just, the whole list made no sense. Arguing about it is just pointless. WWE did what they did. There's nothing that's going to change it. I think we all know that guys like Kurt Angle and Hogan and Flair all deserve much better spots than what they got. But what can you do? What did you think of the musical chair segment with Eugene as GM on the night back in around 2004? That was when I think Flair started dancing around, if I recall. Yeah, I thought that was really entertaining and just one of those segments that you always remember, I think. Do you think Bret Hart will ever cut his hair? As someone who grew and donated his hair to charity in the past, I know what healthy hair looks like, but Bret's hair looks like it is on life support. Well, the long hair is Bret's trademark, so if he ever cuts it, he won't be Bret Hart. It would just be really weird, but you never know. Hey Aaron, love the show. Just wondering what happened to MVP at all. I thought he was a good mid-carder that had potential to become world champion. So did I. As far as MVP goes, he ended up leaving the company unhappy with how they weren't pushing him the way that they probably should have. I remember the Survivor Series shortly before he quit. He came out in his hometown in Miami, got the biggest pop in the night, and what happened? He was the first guy eliminated. That's WWE for you. But as far as him coming back someday, you never know. He said it before that the door is always open, and I think right now he's best off what he's doing, just working in Japan and doing something else right now. Maybe one of these days there'll be an opening. Part of succeeding in wrestling is all about timing and being in the right place in the right time. So MVP could just be waiting in the background, hoping to make a move someday and come back and make a bigger impact than he ever made in the past. We'll see. Do you think WWE should have an off-season? It would give wrestlers a chance to rest their bodies and would prevent WWE going stale. Well, this goes back to the Batista question from earlier. I think, as far as the off-season goes, it's highly unlikely that it's ever going to happen. In a perfect world, having an off-season would be great. But in WWE, that's lost money. They want to keep going and going and going. That's what they've been doing. That's been their business model for the past 25, 30 years, whatever. So they're not going to change things anytime soon. Now, going back to Batista earlier, I think it's best that guys just volunteer to take some time off. Like Batista, he just got tired of it and he took a break. And if he does come back in a year or two, he'll be a fresh face. And we see what Chris Jericho has been doing. When he got stale, he took a break, came back, reinvented his character. He was better than ever. And now he's taking another break. And when he comes back, I'm sure he'll reinvent himself again. He'll be a fresh face, and we'll have some more great moments from Chris Jericho. I think a lot of guys could benefit from doing that. Maybe John Cena, Randy Orton, those guys. Unfortunately, there's nobody to really replace John Cena and Randy Orton right now, so they have to stick around. But if WWE got their act together and then, really got somebody a big push and got somebody, to the level of John Cena or Randy Orton, then it would give Cena and Orton a chance to take some time off and come back and be a fresh face. All right, that about does it for No DQ&A video. This is episode 24. Episode 25 is next. If you would like to leave a question that I will answer on episode 25, go to youtube.com/NoDQCAW, the main channel page. And underneath the videos, you see the channel comments. Leave your question there. That is where I'm going to get the questions from. And just start some discussion. Start some wrestling discussion with other fans. Love to talk and interact with you guys. So go straight to the YouTube No DQCAW main channel page. And for that, we'll see you next time for No DQ&A video here on NoDQ.com.